if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your support in the past couple of years. And I hope you will continue on this art journal journey that we are on. So I'm going to change the camera to overhead and talk a little bit about the breakthrough collage and what we'll be doing in the future. So I'll be with you in just a sec. Okay, in the first part of this video, you saw me putting together this quote made out of my ransom note alphabets. And it says, crack the hardness of the ego open to begin to serve the soul. And I've gone through that probably for the past 30 years at least, and have a practice of listening to my soul, especially through dream work, through meditation, and through my artwork. So my artwork speaks to me, and this was my first collage of last year when we were cracking open. That was my word for the year. And if you'll remember, we walked down this pathway along this wall, this garden wall, to come to a door. And we cracked open the door and we walked inside of a garden. Now, your garden could look totally different from mine, and I'll link these videos down below. So if you didn't see this opening, I'll link the video. But my garden looks fairly bright, except there are some strange things in my garden. There's an owl who is bringing me messages, I'm sure. My garden gate is kind of distressed and not perfect by any means. It's like chipped paint and everything. There are a lot of flowers, but there's a starfish over here in this group of flowers. And there is a broken statue. The head has broken off and is lying on, and you know what? I just realized this was a chair. It wasn't a gate. It was a chair. And this is the back. It was an Adirondack chair. So that's interesting that I'll have to think more about that. There's a skull over here on a pile of, it looks like ancient books. And there's a butterfly that looks like he's kind of fluttering around the skull. There are two nests. One is full of eggs and a feather, and it looks very fruitful. And this one is empty. And so that was something that I explored in meditation. And these collages bring to me a lot of vocabulary in order to communicate with my soul, and for my soul to communicate with me. So this empty nest here, and again, here's a postage stamp that represents messages being mailed, and a feather falling onto this stone walkway. But this stone walkway is blocked by these books and this skull. And there are two little figures here. They look like they're dancing, and one of the figures is holding this leaf. So there is a lot of information in this collage. There's a brain down here in the corner, And I believe this was one of the things that really turned me in the direction of doing neurographic drawing. And sometime in the near future, I'll go through my neurographic drawings with you. And I took a 9-month or 10-month course with the Neurographic Academy. And really, there were so many breakthroughs and rewiring of my brain. And that's one thing that, well, we'll talk about that later. Okay, and then I put this huge list, and when I made this, it was on a 3 feet tall and a huge roll of paper. And I was trying to write down all the inspirations for my artwork, the themes and symbols that are most important to me in my artwork as well as in my life. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these words come up in my work, in my artwork, and in my collages. And we did this one last year. We dropped down into our heart once we were able to crack through the ego. Now, the ego is so important. I don't want to discredit or give the ego a bum rap here, because especially in the first half of our lives, our ego is what propels us out into the world. And it is whatever is the energy in us to go out and work, whether we work outside of the home or in the home, whether we're a mother or a businesswoman or a teacher or whatever we're pursuing, an astronaut, whatever, because we have all of the things within us to be what we want to be and do what we want to do. And the ego pushes us out there in order to get these things accomplished. And it's very accomplishment oriented and success oriented. And we need that in order to realize, our highest potential in the outside world. The ego is concerned with the outside world, how we look, how we work, how we present ourselves, and all of that. So it is an important, very important part of us. But as we get older, if we're fortunate, the realization comes that, wait a minute, there's something missing here. And sometimes we have lost our ability to play. Adults don't play. Well, some do. Some play golf and some play sports. But we get all wound up in being successful and having the house that we want, having the material things that we want, that we forget to play. And we forget that childlike innocence that inspired us to be creative. And that's when it's important to drop down into your heart and get your feelings back. Get your feelings back of creativity. And that's what this is all about. Following our heart and playing, reconnect. And one way I do that is through meditation, it's through dreams, but it is through my artwork. And in this collage, I took a deep dive down into my subconscious to see what was there, and my guide was my mermaid. And my mermaid took me down, and I found a treasure chest. And in that treasure chest, I reminded my little girl of the dog that I felt I needed, the stuffed dog that I felt that I needed for protection, especially at night when it was dark and there were all those strange sounds in the house. And I also found this ring, this topaz ring, and my grandfather had given me a topaz ring on my birthday, and I can't remember how old I was. I'm thinking I was about 7. And one day I was out playing, and I lost my ring. And I kept that a secret from him for the rest of his life. I never told him, but I always felt guilty about it. So when I went down into the down into the watery depths of my soul, I found the ring, and the ring was still there. It was still there, and all of the feelings that I had when my grandfather gave me the ring, and how happy I was that he gave it to me to celebrate my birthday, overcame the guilt that I felt about losing it, because I never forgot it. That part, the feelings were always there. And my little girl over here, this little girl mermaid, she looks kind of sad and dreamy. And I wanted to help her heal too. And so we moved on to this page. And you know, our dreams, in my opinion, are messages from our soul, many of them. You know, there are lots of different kinds of dreams, but these kinds of dreams bring us messages up from our soul so that we can have a conversation with our soul. And here on this side, there's a little child who's broken out of the egg and is moving out into the real world, which can be really scary. It can be, but what a wondrous place to be. Now, down deep, there may be some really scary things that you might have to look at, but there's a reason for that. And, you know, if this shadow, this darkness did not exist, all of this wouldn't look as light and bright as it does. And then I discovered the way of the heart is the way to creativity. We had gone down into the heart, and I found feelings that I had lost track of for a long time, and expressed it through this collage. We went through our garden, and that allowed us to drop down into our hearts and find the treasures that were there. And the relationship to music, to spirit, to the universe. I started to feel as though I was becoming more translucent, that I was seeing through these masks that I wore out into public, and I was being more honest and authentic with what I was saying and what I was doing. And then we came into this year. And from cracking open, that led to breakthrough. So crack the hardness of the ego. Don't get rid of it. Just crack it open to begin to serve the soul. And that is what we're going to be exploring this coming year in this art journal and we're going to see how my vocabulary develops in my conversations with my soul and my conversations with my collage work. And one thing I added that you didn't see me put into the collage is this Wonder Woman stamp. And with her arm raised up, it felt to me that, you know, this is a superpower. When you can break through out of the, I don't know, fog, or break through out of the rocks, or break through out of any place that you have been feeling stuck. That is a real superpower that Wonder Woman seems to embody. The strength, the willpower, the intention. She embodies that for me. Okay? So we're going to move on to our next collage the next time we meet. And I hope you enjoyed this video and also our little chat at the end. And I hope you'll come back for my next video. If you want to be notified when that video is posted, if you ring the bell icon down below this video, that you'll be notified if you've subscribed to my channel, which I hope you do. And leave me a comment. If you've come up with your own word of the year, I'd love to hear what your word of the year is, and where you think you might be on this journey. You know, everybody's in a different place, and you are right where you need to be right now at this moment. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. Please don't judge yourself. This is a journey. This is my journey that I'm sharing with you. And I hope that you'll come along. So I wish you all many blessings, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.